Well, Zephyr, old buddy, you'll have to take care of this until I can come after it.
Get him!
Let's see. That was one Mucho Mocha milkshake and one Strawberry Mint Perfection Parfait Sundae Supreme.
Bravo, Zephyr. You are a true artist.
I always appreciate an appreciative audience.
My tusks.
I skipped breakfast.
Mail call. Excuse me, gentlemen. Thanks, Pete. See you tomorrow.
My goodness, Zephyr, you certainly have an abundance of correspondence.
Oh, it's mostly junk mail. You may have already won $10 million. Ha! Hey, this package is from Arthur.
You don't say. Is he off on another of his wild adventures?
Who knows? There's no return address.
Well, if you ask me, I'd say Arthur's adventures are 90% fiction and 70% imagination.
True enough, Pompadour. That's bad arithmetic, but it does add up to Arthur. Jumpin' jelly beans!
My tusks!
Good gracious!
Wow! Where did Arthur get this?
Perhaps it was given to him by a beautiful princess in a faraway land.
Or he found it while exploring ancient ruins.
Maybe it came from a mysterious sorcerer. It could have magic powers.
Perhaps it's a priceless objet d'art from a king's treasury.
Ha! Listen, you two. You're acting like the kids, falling for one of Arthur's tall tales. Ha! I know what this is.
Zephyr, do be careful.
This isn't an object art. It's an object Arthur.
An objet d'art?
An object Arthur. Don't you get it? This is just another worthless trinket Arthur has picked up somewhere on his travels.
Of course. If it were truly valuable, even Arthur wouldn't be so careless as to send it through the mail.
Postage due.
Oh, that Arthur. He can get one's imagination going.
Yeah. That Arthur.
Yes, that Arthur.
I'll give it an appropriate place of honor, right next to the milkshake glasses.
Yes, I imagine they'll come from miles around to see your rare object, Arthur.
I'll bet nobody would even cross the street to look at this piece of junk. Just get in. Huh? What?
I knew we ditched it here.
Hey, what is this?
It's burglary, skullduggery, flimflammery. What's this kingdom of yours coming to? It's getting so a rhino's not safe in his own 400-room, heavily fortified palace anymore.
Now, Retaxis, if you'll just settle down and calmly explain what it is that you are talking about, I'm sure we can...
What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Basil! What am I talking about?
What his raging rhinus is so righteously ranting about, your pachydermial potentates, is that a person or persons unknown have purloined a prized personal possession of prime importance.
Wow!
I've been burgled, Babar.
A burglary? This is terrible. What was taken?
The most important object in Rhinoland. Something of such incredible value that it could never be replaced. And if I don't get it back, I don't know what I'll do. My whole kingdom will fall apart. You've got to help me.
Of course, we'll do all we can to help. Can you give us a description of the stolen article?
I could do better than that. Basil?
Voila! A glossy 8x10 of the missing knickknack.
My goodness. I can see why you're so upset. This really does look like it's worth an entire kingdom.
Good gracious!
Don't worry, Retaxis. I'll call the royal guards and begin a thorough investigation.
That may not be necessary, Babar.
Why is that, Cornelius?
Well, because, sire, Cornelius and I know where the statue is.
You do?
Where is it? Tell me.
Oh, well, it's...
Zephyr has it, I'm afraid.
That meddling monkey?
Zephyr? Surely he didn't steal it.
No, of course not.
Of course not.
He got it from Arthur.
He got it from Arthur.
What?
Arthur?
I should have known he and Zephyr would be behind this. Those two have always had it in for me.
Now, Retaxas, let's not...
This is terrible! It's a diplomatic nightmare! The royal household will be dragged through the mud!
Pompadour, please, let's
I'll
not...
have him thrown in the dungeon, jailed for a century, incarcerated for eternity.
Please, everyone, calm down. Now, Retaxas, I'm sure this will all be solved by going to see Zephyr and retrieving your statue.
I want my statue.
But it was right here only yesterday. Wherever could it be?
And what's more, where is Zephyr? He seems to have disappeared without a trace.
Without a trace, but with my statue. That does it, Babar. I want Zephyr and Arthur hunted down and brought to justice.
Oh, I can see the front page now. Queen Celeste's sibling in sleazy scandal makes mockery of monarchy.
How about king's in-law, outlaw?
Let's not jump to conclusions. Arthur and Zephyr may be a lot of things, but they are not desperate criminals. I'm sure there's a logical explanation.
Zephyr! Zephyr, you gotta hide me. I think I'm being...
Huh? Arthur.
Babar?
All right, hand it over.
Retaxas?
Where's my statue?
Isn't it here?
So, you did steal it.
No, I didn't steal it. I found it.
Where did you find it, Arthur?
At a bus stop.
A bus stop?
Who are you trying to kid? You stole it, and I want it back. Just give me my property back, and I might let you off with a life sentence.
But where's Zephyr?
As if you didn't know.
Arthur, Zephyr seems to have disappeared, along with the statue.
Oh, no! Babar, they got Zephyr. We've got to...
Who has him?
The two suspicious-looking characters who were chasing me. I think they're the ones who stole the statue.
A likely story. This is just another of your wild tales.
Not a very good one at that.
They must have taken Zephyr.
Forget it, Arthur. I'm not buying your ridiculous story. He's guilty. Are you going to lock him up, Babar? Or are there two systems of justice in Celestville?
This is a dilemma.
It's a nightmare!
But it sure is interesting.
I'm sorry, Arthur, but you're under arrest.
But Babar! You've got to get me out of this.
I'm sorry, Arthur. You'll have to remain in custody until we can find the statue and return it to Retaxas.
But I'm innocent.
I believe you.
I found the statue at a bus stop.
That part I have a little trouble with.
Oh, I know my story sounds far-fetched, but you're the king. You can release me.
Unfortunately, the evidence at this point is overwhelmingly against you, Arthur. And even the king cannot be above the law.
Yes, of course. I understand. You can't show me special treatment. But what about Zephyr? He could be in trouble.
We've got patrols crisscrossing the city at this very minute. Don't worry, Arthur. They'll find Zephyr and the statue. We'll have you out of there in no time.
We hope.
Well, what about it, Babar? Did your thieving brother-in-law tell you where he's hidden my statue?
Retaxas, I'm confident that Arthur is innocent.
I knew it. You're trying to cover up for him.
But Retaxas, surely...
No buts, Babar. This time you've gone too far. If I don't have my statue back by tonight, I'm gonna tear up the peace treaty. Let's beat it, Basil!
Pedals to the metal, sir.
My tusk, Babar. Do you think Retaxas would actually tear up the peace treaty?
Well, Cornelius, I haven't seen him this upset in a long time.
Oh, dear! What will we do, sire?
You and Cornelius go back to the palace to coordinate the patrols. I'm going back to the malt shop to do a little investigating on my own.
I've really messed up this time. But I can't just sit by when Zephyr could be in trouble. Besides, Babar is going to need my help. Who knows what kind of criminal masterminds he's up against.
Hey, take it easy! Ooh. You'll never get away with this!
Ha! Looks like we've already gotten away with it, doesn't it? No thanks to you.
Yeah, no thanks to me. What do you mean, Al?
I mean, if you hadn't lost this thing in the first place, we wouldn't have to steal it again in the second place.
Oh, but Al, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, I see. And was I the that left our loot at the bus stop?
No, Al, that was me, all right. But I needed both hands free to count the correct change. So I set the package down and...
You are such a Burberry.
You say that like it's a bad thing, Al.
These two obviously have a couple of wheels in the sand. You'd better give yourselves up. King Babar is a close personal friend of mine.
Oh, no. What do we do, Al?
Relax. If he's a friend of the king, I'm a monkey's uncle.
Really? Hey, Al, maybe you and that guy in there are related. Say, Al, what are we gonna do with the monkey?
I don't know. We'll think of something.
Wow, we're gonna think of something? That could take a while, eh, Al?
In your case, it could take forever.
Oh, great. It's stuck. Ugh.
I'll start thinking now. That way I'll have a head start. Hey, Al, I just thought of something. What if the monkey really is a friend of the king? We could be in real trouble.
Don't worry. This is the perfect hideout. Nobody would ever think of looking for us here.
Gee, Al, I never thought of that.
That's why I'm the brains of this operation.
There aren't any more clues to be found here. I must think. If I were a criminal, where would I go to hide out? Of course, the waterfront.
I'll straighten this mess out later, but first I've got to help Zephyr.
It's getting late, Basil. Babar had better get my statue back to me, or...
Or the rhinos will rampage?
Or
Else?
I don't know what I'll do. Message for King Retexus!
Here you go, Uranus. Probably a notification that they found your missing memento.
What's this? Arthur has escaped! A likely story! I should have known Babar would set Arthur free!
Those crooks are probably hiding out in the old warehouse. Jackpot! But where's Zephyr?
Almost. Got it.
Once we sell this beauty, we've got it made!
Yeah, I'll bet something like this could be worth 20 or even 30 bucks.
Wise up. It must be worth millions.
Gee, Al, do you really think so?
All right, nobody move. I've got you covered.
Oh, no. He's got us covered.
With what? He looks empty-handed to me.
Stand back! During my travels in the mysterious Orient, I have studied the martial arts. This trunk is a lethal weapon. Hi-ya! Hi-ya! Hi-ya!
Whoa! Arthur?
Zephyr? I've come to rescue you.
Nice going, Arthur.
These two aren't going anywhere. Come on, we better check and make sure nobody else is snooping around.
That must be their hideout.
Well, Arthur, you've really done it this time.
Don't worry, Zephyr. We'll get out of this.
Oh, do you have a plan?
Sure. Babar will show up and rescue us. He always gets us out of the messes I get us into.
Don't be ridiculous, Arthur. How could
Zephyr. Arthur?
Babar find us?
What'd I tell you?
Arthur, what are you doing here?
Rescuing me.
It's kind of a long story, Babar. Now let's get out of here.
Hey, what's going on? Stop! Thieves!
Up here!
No, Babar, over here! We can take the elevator! As the saying goes, life has its ups and downs!
Unless, of course, the elevator is out of order.
Smooth move, Arthur.
Well, well. Looks like we have another guest.
I'm sorry, Babar. Now not only do they have the statue, they've also got the King of Celestville as a hostage.
He's the king?
That explains the pointy hat.
Oh, brother, now what'll we do?
Now they'll demand a king's ransom for your release.
A king's ransom? Hey, I like the sound of that.
Yeah! Thanks for the great idea.
Are you sure you wouldn't prefer to be on their side, Arthur?
All right, right, freeze, turkeys!
Retaxus?
We've got you surrounded.
Cornelius!
Pompadour!
There it is. It's safe. Mine.
How did you find us?
Well, Babar, it seems Rotexis and Basil had the same hunch that you did. And when they saw you go into this warehouse...
They called us to bring in reinforcements.
Retaxus?
Well, after thinking it over, I realized that Arthur and Zephyr may be a lot of things, but they're not desperate criminals. So I decided I'd better track down the real thieves before this fell into the wrong hands.
Well, thank you, Retaxus.
Yeah, thanks!
But may I suggest you keep that statue under close guard from now on? Such a collection of gold and jewels should be under lock and key.
Hey, Al! They think it's made out of real gold and jewels.
It's not?
It's not?
It's not?
Nah, it's just a cheap imitation.
Why didn't you tell me that in the first place?
Gee, Al, I thought you knew. You're the brains of this operation.
You mean I was chased all over town and thrown in jail?
And I was kidnapped and tied up? All for a worthless piece of plastic?
Retaxus, why would you get so upset if it isn't...
Mind your own business, Babar.
Huh? No!
I almost had it, you red-faced rhinos.
A rhino teddy.
That's what was so valuable?
No wonder he wanted it back by tonight.
Now you see why I didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands.
Now, everyone, let's show a little understanding. We shouldn't laugh at Retaxus for having a sensitive side.
Thank you, Babar. Basil, can't you shut it off?
Sorry, sir. It seems to be stuck on lullaby.
This would appear to prove the old saying, music hath charms to soothe the raging rhino.
Don't be embarrassed, Retaxus. It's kind of a catchy tune.